This video was made possible by News Voice, a democratized news app created to fight back against the filter bubbles and the corporate control of the media. Download this app for free at newsvoice.com/Jimmy or click the link under this video. So we were out of town when George Herbert Walker Bush died. And when did his mistress die, by the way? Does anybody know when George Herbert Walker's mistress died?
Ruby's on it.
Find out what her name was, too. Because that's one of the stories. So, and I went on Twitter and I saw how people are, again, eulogizing him. And just, if you have to whitewash war crimes to say something nice about someone, don't say anything at all. Just don't. You don't have to. Like all that shit, all the nice stuff people said about John McCain. You can say nice things about John McCain without pretending he wasn't what he was. And you can say nice things about George Herbert Walker Bush without pretending he wasn't a war criminal. He was. And his son was a worse one. It depends, I guess. So today, I turned on the TV, and this was playing. Right, so I came in and turned on the TV, and this was playing. And in fact, I didn't even catch the beginning of what he said. But what this guy used to work for George Herbert Walker Bush, and what he says is that people used to, he said, well, President Bush used to always like to tell the story that his critics say he comes from privilege, but they didn't always mean that in a good way. And then he goes on. So this is the kind of BS that people are saying about George Herbert Walker Bush, and they're saying it on news shows, and no one pushes back. It's just, so here we go. Ready? Here we go. Here's this guy.
He was a man of privilege, and he'd remind the audience that they never meant that in a kind or a complimentary way. They meant to say that he was a rich guy. And he said, they got it half right. I was privileged, but it wasn't just because my family had money. I was privileged because they instilled in me a set of values that carried him through for the rest of his days. And
like the value of race baiting with Willie Horton. The values, they instilled me values. If you need to race bait to get what you want, that's a good value. Right? The guy was the head of the CIA. What person with good values becomes the head of the CIA? The person who's the head of the CIA right now is a confirmed torturer? Yes. So here, listen to more of this bullshit with this guy. Let me back it up and we'll start it again because it's kind of...
He was a man of privilege, and he'd remind the audience that they never meant that in a kind or a complimentary way. They meant to say that he was a rich guy. And he said, they got it half right. I was privileged, but it wasn't just because my family had money. I was privileged because they instilled in me a set of values that carried him through for the rest of his days. And that's what I learned from him. It was wonderful, of course, having worked for a former president, but it was the fact that I worked...
Not bad.
That's right. But it was the fact that I worked for one of the greatest human beings that I know I'll ever meet.
I don't fault that guy for saying that. He worked for him. He was his friend. I don't fault that guy for saying it. What I fault is for the guy sitting on the other side of the desk, just letting him say it. Right? So he's like one of the greatest human beings in the history of the world. No, he was literally a war criminal.
I'm sure every woman that was felt up by him really thinks he's great.
So I'm guessing the resistance is putting the hashtag #MeToo movement on hold until he's in the ground. Thank you, Malcolm Fleischner, for that joke, by the way. So are you? So is the resistance putting the hashtag #MeToo on hold until he's in the ground? Because not one person mentioned that. By the way, he had a did you find out what his mistress's name was yet? Jennifer Fitzgerald. He had a frickin' mistress the whole time. He was married, pretty much. When he was ambassador to China, he brought her with. She was his personal assistant who couldn't type. Could she type? Fine. See if she could type. I bet you any money she couldn't type.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Unless you refer to typing as...
I don't understand.
Can you imagine George Herbert Walker Bush getting a blowjob from his mistress? Because he got him.
I'd rather not. But,
I know, me too.
No, I don't understand why there's always this need when somebody powerful passes. There's always this need to fish for like this celebration or this like putting them on this pedestal, and it's like, well, you know, you got to honor them because no, you don't actually. Well, I don't want to say anything ill of the dead. Then don't say anything at all.
How come somebody dead? How come somebody dead you can't say anything about them?
They're already dead.
They're dead. They don't give a flying fuck what you say about them. And those people on Facebook and Twitter that say you shouldn't speak ill of the dead. What? Why?
F off.
You're just saying that. You're just trying to shame and admonish me for thinking.
That's more that shut up with your true stuff. That's uncomfortable to people. We
Children
all like
of alcoholics.
That's called children. So the United States is a nation full of adult children of alcoholics. And one of the hallmarks of adult children of alcoholics is misplaced loyalties. You're loyal to your abuser, just like people who are loyal to the Democratic Party. And the other thing is, you shoot the messenger. You're not mad at the person who's abusing you. You're actually loyal to that person. You're mad at the person who points out that person you're loyal to is abusing you. That's what we have in the United States. We're a country full of that. We're trying to be the antidote. Let me play the rest of this video, okay? Did you have some?
No, go ahead. Play
Humble, joyful, kind, considerate person who did the right thing 10 out of 10 times. And that's the
10 out of 10 times, including the racist Willie Horton stuff. People say, "Oh, that was from an outside organization that did that." He embraced it and did his own version of Willie Horton. So don't give me that. And then he was a serial groper. He would do it to teenage girls. One girl was like 18 years old. He groped her, and she told her story in that article. He would say, "Who's your favorite magician?" The game he would play when he's in a wheelchair, the lech that he was. He'd be in a wheelchair, and he'd be around, let's say, an 18-year-old girl or woman, and he would go, "Who's your favorite magician?" And they would say something, and he would go, "David Copperfield," and he would grab their ass or something.
Let me try that
That's
joke
what he
on
would
Ron.
do.
Let me try that joke on
Hashtag
Ron.
me too. Yeah. So, all right, let's listen.
legacy that he leaves behind both in his public life and in his private life.
Ian, we were looking at Dana Carvey earlier, and all of us
Yeah,
here.
I know, all of us here.
Listen, if Dana Carvey dies, I'm going to have some nice things to say about Dana Carvey and his impressions.
Well, you know, I saw a meme, and I think this was when John McCain died, and I can't remember the original author, but it was a meme that went all around Twitter where they said, look, don't speak ill of the dead refers to, you know, your aunt that maybe drank too much at Christmas but, you know, had a good heart. It doesn't refer to people that are in the public spotlight who made decisions that affected other people's lives and cost people theirs.
That cost other people lives.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't go for, that's exactly right, Ron. Okay, so there's more of that clip, but I really can't take it. So, because it's just, I really can't take that shit, and I can't take, it's tough. I know there's a part of me that enjoys critiquing the media and lambasting them, but it's still painful. I still wish I didn't have to do it. Honest. It doesn't bring me joy to see how horrible Rachel Maddow has become. It doesn't bring me joy to see Chris Hayes tweet out that bullshit story that The Guardian did and said, oh, if this is true, it's a big deal. And if it's not, it would just be another piece of the bullshit propaganda I've been pushing at MSNBC at the top of our lungs. Those people have no integrity. I'm not kidding, right? So I don't want to be in your fucking club because your club is full of people who are propagandists and corporate tools. Our next live Jimmy Dore show is February 1st in Burbank, California. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a list of all our live shows, and please become a premium member if you can. Become a patron. It's the way we support this show because they're coming at us, and we give you bonus. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Check it out. Become a patron. And if you can, make sure you're still subscribed. They unsubscribe people every day. I know it sounds crazy. It only takes a second. Please make sure and click that bell when you subscribe so they'll send you a notice when we drop a video. Thanks for your support.